Hello, everyone. Welcome to Clarity 16.0.3 Supportability Training. My name is Dave Sprague. In this section, we will review the updates to Clarity Connections, which is the out-of-the-box configurable solution to integrate Clarity and Rally. What's new? Well, first up is the ability to integrate Clarity and Rally objectives and key results, or OKRs. The existing Clarity no-code object field mapping framework has been expanded to support custom objects for Clarity objectives and custom sub-objects for Clarity key results, and the ability to retrieve Rally OKR fields. Clarity objectives are enabled as either a Clarity custom object or an investment type. Clarity key results are enabled as a Clarity custom sub-object and associated with either the configured custom object or investment type. And the existing sync jobs are updated to support populating Clarity and Rally OKR mapped fields using the defined sync directions. Secondly, Clarity's rich text formatted fields can be mapped and synchronized with Rally. Clarity's large string rich text attribute is updated and now compatible with Raleigh's text fields from a sync perspective and can share formatted information including bullet points or numeric lists, underlined, bold, italic content as an example. This release also includes new capabilities to ensure Clarity's production to non-production refreshes do not inadvertently update Raleigh's production systems. This is referred to as Clarity's production to non-production refresh logic, which compares Clarity's internal server URL to that of the Clarity server information maintained in the properties file to determine if there is a match. If there's a mismatch, the sync job will not run and will create a log entry with related information. The system will recognize which instances the jobs were originally configured for. And this is specific to the Rally Clarity integration and not a holistic job update or capability. So why is this important? Well, from the OKR integration perspective, OKRs are a popular method for organizations to measure performance. Different parts of the organization will articulate different objectives and key results related to their respective roles. Business outcome OKR ownership and responsibility rests with business management. Engineering OKR ownership and responsibility rests with engineering management. Even though OKRs might be viewed through different filters, they can often complement or be aligned with each other. With this release, Clarity Connections helps business and engineering management achieve OKR alignment. Regarding the update to Clarity's rich text formatted fields and the ability to be synchronized with Rally, this is important to drive adoption as users expect consistent formatting between Clarity and Rally. The production or prod to non-prod refresh logic is important because when a Clarity prod to non-prod refresh occurs, Clarity is smart and will not run non-production jobs against a production Rally environment. Administrators can be confident the integration sync jobs will not inadvertently execute from a Clarity non-production environment to Rally. So what's changed? Well, Clarity objectives are enabled as either a Clarity custom object or an investment type. On the other hand, Clarity key results are enabled as either a Clarity custom sub-object associated with a defined object or an investment type. The existing Clarity object and field mapping framework has been expanded to support these custom objects for Clarity objectives and custom sub-objects for Clarity key results, and retrieve Rally OKR fields. Clarity synchronization capabilities can push information from Clarity to Rally's OKR framework or pull information from Rally's OKR framework to Clarity. You can easily map OKR fields between Rally and Clarity. From the objective perspective, you can mount name and description and have that go to Rally, and then you can have confidence score come back to Clarity. You can also configure who owns the data. Similarly, the key results perspective, you can map name, start, and target metrics and have those go to Rally, and then have the last actual value metric come back to Clarity. For this release, Clarity's key results is tagged as beta. In fact, Rally's OKR solution is in beta today and expected to transition to open beta in late August and be generally available in mid-September. At that point, the Clarity key results beta tag will be removed. Next, you can also configure who owns the data. If Clarity, will use the Clarity to Rally sync direction. If Rally owns the data, use Rally to Clarity sync direction. And you can also configure when the sync occurs. Continuing on what's changed, you control how the integration syncs Clarity and Rally. As I mentioned, the existing sync jobs have been updated to support populating Clarity and Rally OKR fields based upon the configured sync direction. Now these create and update options have not changed. However, they have been updated to support OKRs. So you can create new Clarity or Rally OKRs. So for example, if there's no Rally OKR and if there's no Rally OKRs, new Rally OKRs can be created and map fields are populated. Likewise, if there's no Clarity OKRs, new Clarity OKRs can be created and the map fields can be populated using that create option. So the update and create and update options have not changed. We've just now updated them to support OKRs. Here's a look at the Clarity page displaying an objective listing. In this case, we're using custom objects to define Clarity objectives. The items that are starred represent those that are OKRs that are managed. It's a way to indicate that these OKRs are managed solely in Clarity and are not integrated with Rally. The projects column indicates those projects that are associated with the Rally OKRs. You can have one or more project or team assignments associated with any given OKR. The Clarity objective percent complete, this is an example of a aggregated number field comparing the average of key results progress. The objective type really represents the Rally objective hierarchy level position. OKRs in Rally have a hierarchy as well, very similar, just the same as how they look at portfolio items in a hierarchy. The two messages here, last sync status and last sync, they have been extended and now support OKRs, but that indicates that last sync from Rally, was it successful or failed with date and time information. Source has been a field that we've been using for the investment area, but it's been expanded to the OKR integration, and this indicates if Rally is the source of the objective. Drilling into an objective, key results are visible from the flyout, which is configured via a blueprint. Key results display in that flyout displayed as configured in the blueprint, as I just mentioned. Those metrics on the right, if those are managed in Clarity, then they are manually entered. And if they're integrated with Rally, these values are automatically brought over. And the percent attainment value is a calculated number field that compares target and current values. And that'll be automatically calculated regardless if the metrics are manually managed in Clarity or automatically populated due to the integration with Rally. Moving on, the data type compatibility grid is a read-only reference table to help users understand the supported data types for Rally and Clarity and their respective sync directions. Both indicates either system can serve as a source. Clarity to Rally, that indicates Clarity serves as the source. And then Rally to Clarity indicates that Rally is the source. I want to draw your attention to the inclusion of Clarity's rich text field, which can now be synced with Rally's text field and their respective formatting capabilities. Now, if we move on here, we're going to go into the mapping exercise, and that all starts with mapping Clarity and Rally objects. Object mapping easily connects Clarity with Rally. So the integration now supports custom objects in addition to the standard Clarity investments in the form of projects, ideas, and custom investments. From the Rally object perspective, that pull down is updated to include objectives in addition to Rally's configured portfolio item hierarchy items like feature, initiative, or theme. So with the object mapping in place, there's another activity that needs to occur related to key results, and that is mapped in the form of a sub-object mapping. This is a new area, and this pull down in the upper screen displays the objectives key results value representing a custom object / custom sub-object pairing. Only those objects with a configured custom sub-object are displayed in this list. From within the Rally pull-down, the lower portion of the page, a single key results value is available. This pull-down will only include Rally's key results value. So with the two areas, the object mapping for objectives and then the sub-object area mapping for key results done, then we move on to field mapping. So first thing, we do have to map the objects, the field for objectives in this case. And so here we choose which direction we want, Clarity Rally or Rally to Clarity. And then based on that, either one of the systems will serve as the source. When using the direction Clarity to Rally, the system will create new objectives and populate their corresponding fields, such as name, description, and start date in Rally. When using the direction Rally to Clarity, you can bring in OKR information from Rally. So this is the same metaphor we've been using for investment level synchronization. It's now been expanded to support field mapping for OKRs. Field mapping also has to occur for key results. So this area has been expanded to support that. So the Rally to Clarity option should be chosen for current metrics for the current metric value, because the latest actual value is in fact a read-only value in Clarity. So Clarity will only be able to receive updates from Rally for this value. The other key result fields, name, start, target, can be configured to allow either system to create new entries and update them. The Rally objects page is where you get access to the Rally objects and their associated stock and custom attributes. This is read-only information. It serves as a reference area, and with this information in these fields, it enables the user to perform the mapping exercise without a network or connection delay. The Rally object grid is updated to include OKRs, in addition to the configured portfolio items such as theme, initiative, or feature displayed there on the list. I want to draw your attention to the inclusion of those Rally OKR objects represented as the objective hierarchy levels. You see the feature, initiative, and theme are examples of objective hierarchy levels, and there's the key result area with its flyout selected on the right, and you can see all the various fields that are supported with for key results. And brought in and stored in Clarity. From an infrastructure perspective, the integration includes a staging table area to capture Rally data before processing and populating the mapped objects and stock or custom fields in Clarity. It also captures the outbound Clarity information before processing and populating the mapped objects and stock custom fields in Rally. This information provides a read-only, this information provides the administrative users into transparency into what the integration is doing. Administrative users have the needed information that provides a sense of trust in the system and visibility into sync or job status. This information is now no longer suppressed in a log file, but readily available from the user experience. And as with prior releases, each job run, the staging tables are cleared out. So in this release, the staging table supports inbound or outbound OKR information. This sets us up for future pre-processing of the data before the data moves to either Clarity or Rally. And this is an example of the to Clarity staging table, meaning there's inbound objective information and key result information that is captured here in the staging table. Now, moving on a little bit, Clarity's large string rich text attribute has been updated and is compatible with Rally's text fields. Clarity's component used to support Clarity's component used to support the large string rich text attribute has been updated to support HTML versus JSON. The primary reason for this change is to be compatible with Rally's text field from an integration and sync perspective. So Rally's underlying component for their text field has not changed. Clarity changed its underlying component to be compatible with Rally. Finally, this release also includes new capabilities to ensure Clarity's production to non-production refresh actions do not inadvertently update Rally production systems. This is referred to as Clarity's production to non-production refresh logic, which compares Clarity's internal server URL to that of the Clarity server information maintained in the properties file to determine if there's a match. If there's a mismatch, the sync job will not run and it will create a log entry with the related information. So essentially, the system will recognize which instance the jobs were originally configured for. And as mentioned before, this is specific to the Rally Clarity integration and not a holistic job capability. So let's move on to the demo. In this demonstration, we'll see how to configure Clarity and Rally OKR object and field mappings. We'll populate the integration mapping lookup for those Clarity and Rally OKRs to be synced. We'll actually run the sync job. We'll run the sync mapped information job to create and update the Clarity and Rally OKRs. We'll take a look at those Rally and Clarity screens that are impacted following that sync job. We'll also understand more about Clarity's rich text attribute and how it syncs with Rally. And then we'll take a look and leverage Clarity's prod to non-prod refresh logic. Okay, so let's hop out of PowerPoint and move to the demo. We are going to start here at the, I've got our custom objects page, and we have several custom objects defined in the system here, but most important for our demo today is the objectives tile. So we will drill into that and look at this. And the focus of these new Clarity capabilities that support an end-to-end flow for integrating Clarity and Rally objectives. So we're going to take a look at this entire flow. So let's get started. So I'll start by reviewing the existing Clarity and Rally OKR information. So in a second, we'll move over to Rally. We'll run the sync job. I'll show you the object and field mapping updates that support OKR data sync, and I'll show you the underlying staging tables updates that support OKRs. And then we'll come back out and we'll take a look at the impact of what the sync job, the impact the sync job has on Clarity and Rally's OKR information. So let's review existing Clarity OKR information. And so we've drilled into this custom object called objectives. You can see here there's 6 business objectives associated with this view. The start attribute is really used to indicate that these OKRs are managed in Clarity and not integrated with Rally. We anticipate Clarity to be used as a system of record for an organization's business and engineering OKRs. The Clarity Rally OKR integration will enable incorporating engineering OKRs, those that are managed in Rally, within an overall enterprise OKR view in Clarity. As you can see, we're using objective name, percent complete, confidence score, start date, finish date, and an owner. And we're also highlighting that there's a conversation capability here with custom objects, and in this case, objectives. Now, percent complete is an aggregated number attribute and is automatically calculated based upon key results information captured manually or derived from Rally, and we're going to have more on this topic. The main thing I want to point out is this is a field that is not mapped. These other are, or owner is not mapped, but the objective percent complete is not a mapped field. So I'd really like to investigate the objective with this low percent complete and confidence score. So I'll select this guy to highlight the row, and I will select the details tab to bring up the flyout. And I'll hit expand to take a look at the key results here. Now the key results, backing up 1 second, key results is configured via Blueprint. And so you have that flexibility to have it right there as a flyout. Also, key results is configured as a behind the scenes. It's a Studio custom object, but it's associated with as a sub object to the objective custom object. And then, as we mentioned, the key results are there in the flyout because of the Blueprint configuration. And as you can see, we're using name, percent attainment, start, current, and target metrics. These values are also updated manually because business OKRs are not integrated with Rally for purposes of today's conversation. That percent attainment is a calculated number attribute and is automatically calculated based on key result metrics captured, in this case, manually or derived from Rally. Again, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So I'll close this flyout and return back to the objective listing. And I want to draw your attention to this conversation piece. Conversations has been added to custom objects and can be configured as a module using Blueprint configuration capability. So I'll just select this guy, and you can see conversations is a module, and it shows the ongoing conversation for this specific objective. It looks like Ed has this under control. So I'll select objectives and come back out to the objective listing. So let's review Rally's engineering OKRs. I'll come over here to Rally, and we should see a grid of objectives. Rally has a concept of an objective hierarchy, like Rally's portfolio item hierarchy. I'm on the listing of objectives related to the theme objective. I can select here, and there's another level here, and theme is the topmost level in the hierarchy. I'll select initiative level to show an additional 2 OKRs we're tracking. You can see one of these has a table in the description, and more on that topic later. And I'll just return back to the theme objective level. And as you can see, there are several columns in use that provide status and other information, such as the number of key results that are associated with a given objective, and or the number of projects. We often, in the Clarity world, kind of refer to projects as teams in the context of Rally. So you can see the number of projects there. I'm going to go ahead and open the first objective, and you can see its details at the top of the view and the key results trending information at the bottom of the view. There just happens to be 2 key results associated with this one objective. I want to point out that Rally and Clarity use the same calculation for average key results progress, which is an average of key result information. I want to go ahead and update the first key result by selecting Update Actuals. This allows me to put in kind of progress that we're making over time. I'll go ahead and put an actual value in for this week. I am going to use July 28th, that is today, and I'm going to add a value of 30. I'll add that and hit done. As you can see, the key result trend line and percent attainment is updated with the new information. Now, the average key results will update with a refresh. So I'll go ahead and hit refresh, and that average key result progress should update to 45. It was at 39. So Clarity and Rally also use the same calculation for this percent attainment at the individual key result level. And as I mentioned, we use the same calculation for the overall progress of the objective as well. I would also like to update the confidence score for this, since I believe we're making good progress with this particular objective. So I'm going to go in here and switch over to edit mode. And you can see additional details for the objective, and the key results are now displayed here with kind of a starting point and final target. I'm going to go ahead and update our confidence score from a 0.7 to 0.8, or 80%. You can also see the integration mapping has been configured on the Rally side, in particular in this objective page. That can also be set in the list view as well, but this is similar capabilities that we had in the portfolio item hierarchy level that has now been extended and added for OKRs. If I needed to add additional key results or update objective ownership or start and end dates over here, I could do so, but I'm just going to go ahead and select save. I just changed the confidence score. I'll hit save, and then I'll hit X to close out this view. You can see the confidence score updated there. And I'll go ahead and hit X to come back to the objective listing. As I mentioned, you can update the integration mappings value in the list view as well. And this informs the system to use a specific object and field mapping configuration, which we'll cover in a moment. Okay, so we've reviewed the current state of Clarity and Rally OKR data. Next, I'll run the sync job to incorporate these 9. I have 7 here and 2 in the theme, in the initiative objective that we're tracking. So I'll return to the OKR listing in Clarity. I'll open the job page, and I've got it set to run the sync job for these Clarity, for the Clarity and Rally OKR integration mapping. So I'll go ahead and hit submit to kick that off. And while that's running, I'm going to come over here and show you the underlying setup and configuration. So we're going to go to administration, integrations, and we have 2 integration mappings here. This is our one of interest. I'll select the Clarity and OKRs integration. And you can see here, I'll just expand this here as well. the first thing you're going to do is at the objective levels, align the objectives. The name and direction have not changed. We still have the three options that are there. What's changed is the objectives, or in this case, a custom object is now available in the pull down, along with projects, ideas, and custom investment types. And likewise, the rally object pull down will also include the objective value, in addition to the portfolio item hierarchies that are configured for the customer. Now, you may notice the label external instead of rally. In limited areas, that label external will be replaced with rally in Clarity's first patch, which is targeted for September. Okay, so at this point, you've configured the two objects, right? The Clarity objectives object and the rally object, the objective object. So I'm going to open the flyout here, and I'll select field mappings, and I'll just expand this so we can see it in full view. And so we can see the direction we've chosen, the different fields, the sync option. You can see the map fields and the sync option there. You can see the rally to clarity option is chosen for project and state for this demonstration. The other fields for name, start, finish, confidence score is configured to allow either system to create new entries and update them. So now we have the object and field mapping done, objective and field mapping completed. So let me close the flyout, and I'll select the sub-object mapping area. This is new, and like I mentioned, this remains in beta until Clarity's first patch in September. So the system supports key results configured as a custom sub-object for either a custom object or a project idea or custom investment type. So as like on the object mapping, name and direction are the same capabilities. They're just extended here to the key results area. I'll open the Clarity object pull down, and it will include objectives and key results. In fact, it'll present any custom object or any object that has a configured custom sub-object. So it's not going to display all your custom sub-objects. It'll only display those things that have a corresponding object. So there's our Clarity object with key results. And here the Rally object pull down is going to show key results as you would expect. And it's going to be limited to this value only. That's the only Rally sub-object, if you will, that we support. All right, so that's the object mapping, and the field mapping is very similar. I'll expand that. And we've got, we have here start, target, name, and current. You'll notice that the current metric is coming from Rally to Clarity. So Rally's last actual value is going to be sent from Rally to Clarity. Now, I chose this one because this direction because this is a read-only field in Rally. And so we expect updates, just like I made that Rally user made a moment ago, to come over and populate our current value. Okay, so I'll close the flyout now. And one thing I want to touch, so we've covered the object mapping and the fields and the sub-object mapping and their fields. So let's kind of step at some of the other tables that have been updated to support OKRs. This is the Rally objects table. It populates as a result of the running the import integration mapping job. So you basically get all the Rally fields over here and populated so that you can create your field mappings without having to worry about latency or network issues. It's all here in Clarity. And this has got all their these objects related custom fields as well. Okay, as you can see, this has been updated to include key results and objectives, and here's just examples of the different hierarchy levels. So if I click on key results and bring over the flyout, I can see the multiple fields that are available from a Rally key results perspective. We were just picking on name, target, start, and last of actual value. So there's many more that you can choose to meet your needs. All right, so let's step out here, and I just want to touch on one other thing here is the data type compatibility. I just want to draw your attention here to the fact that this grid is, again, a read-only reference table to help users understand the supported data types for Rally and Clarity and their respective sync direction. Both, again, indicates either system can serve as a source, and then Clarity Rally, that's where Clarity serves as the source. And then a Rally to Clarity is obvious, Rally is the source. I just want to draw your attention to the rich text entry up here, the second row, which then, so this allows this field to be synced, Rally and Clarity's rich text field to be integrated with Rally's text field and their respective formatting capabilities. So before we move over to the look at the impact of the sync job, I want to go into our integration mapping tables real quick. I'm going to go into to Clarity, and I will bring up the OKR view. And so this data is populated, which indicates that the sync job is actually completed. But I just want to draw your attention to the Rally objective and key results fields that represent the new inbound OKRs being created in Clarity. So we have our Rally object, we have our Clarity object here. This is the objective, and then we have the Clarity key results item. And then we have the Rally objects, which talks about the objectives and their different level, as well as the key results for each. We got a name, a description, oops, I'm trying to navigate to the right, and different information for the key results, right? Starting, target, and last actual. All that information comes over in our staging tables. I want to show you the one of the behaviors here at this level, the eliminate all security vulnerabilities. I want to open this field here. You can see here, it's got the description, but it also has something here that doesn't exactly look right. Well, this is an example of a Rally text field that had a table in it. So what happens is, at least in the staging table, it strips out the table formatting and leaves you this concatenated information. Now this only stays in the staging tables. It doesn't make its way into the actual Clarity field that this was targeted for. We'll talk about in a second. But I just wanted you to be aware of that. If I open this field, the description for enhance all cloud deployments, you'll see that the formatting that was established in Rally is actually carried over into Clarity. So as I mentioned, the other area, that table formatting that was lost, that's only captured in the staging tables, and it doesn't impact the actual objective listing. Now, and this is because at present time, Clarity's rich text formatting capability does not support images or tables, but there are plans to support them in the future release. So that information that I was just looking at right here, it's here in the staging table for the admin to view and understand what has happened. And I showed you the other one remains intact. So as the admin, I do have additional tools to identify which Rally records did not sync because their fields contain images or tables. So that's the thing we want to make clear here, is that this field will not sync, this text field will actually not sync with clarity. We want to make sure that we don't um, inadvertently corrupt any Rally data, so any Rally field with a image or table will not be synced with clarity at this time. So I'm going to return to the clarity job log page. I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to select the most recent entry for the import staging table, which is right here. I'm going to navigate to the last page and scroll down. You can see right here there's a warning that tells me that a field was skipped because of this. One or more clarity rich text fields from Rally were skipped. So please go to the debug logs to go look for more information. So like I said, I have tools to go figure that out. I can investigate that by going to the detailed server log page, which is over here. I can make sure that the clarity BG is selected, the BG log is selected, I've got a size, and I'll just hit go. And so that's going to go retrieve the detailed logs. And what I'm looking for here, it's hard to see, I'll expand it in a moment. I am looking for a warning. You can see that right here, and it tells me import staging table skipping for this Rally instance. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And I know it's an eye chart, but it's on purpose. This is just more details telling me, well, which Rally instance was missed. And it tells me description is having either image or table data. So there's my instance. There's my Rally indicator of the Rally instance that particular text field didn't make it over. Okay, so we're going to go investigate that in a minute. So let's come back out to the clarity pages. Let me zoom back out a little bit. I'm going to come back out to my custom objects. And as you can see, I've got many more entries here. I'm going to come and look at my combined business and engineering view. The items that were starred remain, and they weren't touched because they were not integrated with Rally. But you can see I've got several more items here, and those are the ones that we were looking at on the Rally side. And those now are included in this combined kind of business and engineering OKR view. One of the things I want to do is look at the improved customer usage in FY22, this guy right here. You can see the Rally formatting that was established in Rally is carried over and brought over. I can see my bold, my underline, my color, right? And so that all remains intact. I also want to draw your attention to this guy, this field where it's blank. So this is the Rally text field that was skipped during that sync job because the field contained either a table or an image. If I scroll over to the right for this guy, right up here, I will see that object ID ending in 5595. That was the same ID that we saw in that detailed server log. So I just wanted to draw the correlation between, we got the alert and the import staging table job that something was amiss. We went to the server logs, we saw the identification, and we were able to validate that here in the Clarity page. Now, again, Clarity doesn't support images or tables in this release. We plan to in subsequent releases. But the key point here is we didn't want to inadvertently corrupt any data. So even if I do enter content into this page on the Clarity side, when I run the sync job again, this data will not go over and therefore not corrupt that existing Rally text field, which had an image and table and other content. So we wanted to make sure that we, in the meantime here, didn't inadvertently corrupt any existing Rally data. Okay. Let's continue to investigate the combined OKR listing here. You can see the objective name, become top leader, become the top position in the leader quadrant for value ops, displays that 80% confidence score that was just updated by that Rally user. You can see that the project and state fields are not populated because they are actually mapped as update only. So we'll talk about that in a second. I'm actually going to go to the job board here and look for the sync job mapped information, pull up the integration mapping, and I'm going to run that job. So while that's going, let's continue to investigate this combined listing. As I mentioned, percent complete is that aggregated number attribute. It's calculated based on key results information, now automatically delivered. So for all these items that just came in from Rally, that is automatically calculated based on some key result data that was also submitted. I'll go ahead and click on this guy and look at open the flyout, and I'll go to key results. I'll kind of bring this over here, and you can see the start, current, and target metric has been updated. The percent attainment, again, is a calculated value in Clarity that relies on this information that in this case was served up automatically due to the integration with Rally. Let's continue down the listing as we kind of move through these other values. The flyout, of course, stays open, and I can see the updated key results that have just come in from the system automatically. Now I'm coming down to this one, and I'm noticing that there is no objective. There's nothing here. If I go ahead and refresh my screen now, I'm expecting the projects and states field to update, and they did. For this particular one, we are in a measuring state. Actually, that should probably be in a discovering state. I'm going to go ahead and change that. So next time the sync job runs, this will be updated. You can see the other the projects were set up here. This is a list of all the projects that are coming over from Clarity. If I were to go ahead and update that now, the next sync job would overwrite that. So I'm not going to change that. I'm going to go ahead and close that flyout, which I already did. I just want to point out some other elements here that came over with these engineering OKRs. We got the objective type. That's the hierarchy level, right? Those are all here. We got the read-only message successful and or when the time occurred. And we have visibility to the source. This object ID is populated when there's a successful integration, as you can see by the last sync status. And the integration mapping is auto-populated to tell us which integration mapping is used. Sometimes you may not even want these fields on the page, and you can just go into the column panel and suppress those if you wish. Take out the object ID, and then you can be done. Okay. So that also, given this current, as we took a look at that, what is it, the implement secure banking. This guy, obviously it doesn't have any key results defined, so the objective percent complete value did not populate. I'm going to go ahead and lower my confidence score on that since we're really not making any progress with defining the key results. So the next time the sync job runs, that would actually push that information over to Rally and be visible to the Rally users. Okay, so that concludes the demonstration for integrating Clarity and Rally OKRs, including that review of the Clarity and Rally data, the sync job, the object and field mapping, the staging tables with the OKR support, and lastly, just kind of reviewing the impact of both Clarity and Rally following the sync job. So next, I'll demonstrate the new production to non-production refresh logic. Okay, next we're going to demonstrate the Clarity's production to non-production refresh logic. I will go ahead back into Modern UX and go to integrations, and we can see the list of integration mappings. I've included the internal URL field, which provides visibility to a possible URL mismatch, which will prevent the sync job from running. So as you can see, for Clarity and Rally OKRs, the internal URL, which again is a read-only value, it matches the URL that is in the properties file. So in other words, the system I'm using right now. And obviously the connect to Rally, that internal URL does not match this system. So this is an example of a production environment that was refreshed into a non-production environment, and you end up with a mismatch here between the internal URL and this environment. So with this condition, the sync job will not run, and therefore this non-production Clarity instance will not update, inadvertently update and run jobs from this environment and impact a production Rally environment. So I previously run the sync job for this connect to Rally integration mapping. So I'm going to go ahead and open the job log page and go look for my last sync job record. I'm going to select that. I'll scroll down and you can see a warning message right here. And this is your indicator, and at least the documentation for the administrator to see that the system figured out that the URL and integration mappings internal URL are not the same. And so it tells me what's the server in use and what's that internal URL record. So in this case, the Clarity did not run a job from the non-production environment that we're in against a Rally production environment. Administrators can be confident the integration sync jobs will not execute from Clarity's non-production environment to Rally. So that concludes the demonstration of Clarity's production to non-production refresh logic. And this concludes the demonstration for all the updates to Clarity connections and the Rally integration. This concludes the Clarity connection section. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.